YouTube, today I'm going to be talking about the fight that has to be made next, okay? It is Petr Yan versus Merab 3, okay? I feel like this is stating the obvious here, but honestly at this point I don't know, okay? Because we're heading into, let me prepare the narratives for you guys, okay? Starting off, all right, we're going to have Sean O'Malley knock out Aiemann Zahabi on the White House lawn. Is Merab versus Yan going to be booked by that point? 50-50 shot, we don't know yet, okay? I'm saying in the event where Sean O'Malley goes out and knocks out Aiemann Zahabi, I do not care, okay? This is Merab's title shot. Kind of comes down to the same deal as Pantoja, okay? When you defend your belt 3+ times, I do not care how you lost. I do not care how you lost. Okay? Merab got BTA in that fight. And that's okay. Okay? He was coming off all those weight cuts and he was being Merab. He's being stupid, okay? Maybe we see smart Merab. That will not be happening, but let's play devil's advocate here. He's already beat Petr Yan. This is the obvious fight to make, okay? And I'm worried that we, as a sport, are going to rob ourselves from fights that make sense. And I want the winner of this fight, unless it's Merab. I assume Yan wins this. I really do. Honestly, I know this might sound weird. I think we're going to see a very washed version of both of these fighters, okay? Let me base that claim, right? So let's take a look at Petr Yan's age, okay? Petr Yan is 33 years old, okay? He is no longer a young guy, all right? I think he is an old bantamweight. He is an older bantamweight. Your prime is probably around 30. Obviously, it depends when you entered the cage. He is an older bantamweight now. Now, add on to what's happening with Yan. He is also getting back surgery, okay? Those are two major things happening to Petr Yan. He's getting older, and while he's also getting older, he is also getting back surgery. How many guys really come back from back surgery like that? Not that many. Not only that, you're going to see probably also a washed version of Merab. Guys, he's currently 35 years old. I think he's 35. I don't know if Google's telling the truth. We're assuming that Google AI is freaking elite, which I don't expect, but we'll see. Merab is currently 35 years old, okay? It's like, he's also washed, dude. He's old. He's going to be old, man. He's going to be old in that cage. He's going to be 35 years old. And we know the 35 years old curse, but we know freaking Volk and Pantoja are the GOAT. I don't know if Merab's able to do that. I think we see two washed versions of both these fighters. Yan, I'm a little bit less sure. If Yan looks good, then it's still the Yan of old. We're still good, right? But if Yan starts to lose a little bit of that speed, which I think is going to happen, you know what I mean? I'm projecting that he's going to look washed. I could be wrong. I'm open to being wrong. We got to see how Petr Yan looks, how his training camp goes. But if he looks washed, I think a washed version of Yan is still going to be able to beat a 35-year-old Merab. But I think a washed Yan loses to O'Malley. And that's why I made that video about who's going to win the belt next at each division. Okay? Merab versus Yan, I would hope. Let's see. What time do I think this will be now? Let's take a real look here. I think that you do this fight. Yeah, I like what Bedtime came up with. I actually agreed. I think you do this fight in September, and you do Volk versus Malafzar, Yan versus Merab 3, and then Shevchenko versus Silva, and have a super card in September. I really like that idea because I don't think any of these fights necessarily on their own are very huge. These are just kind of my predictions if you want to look at them right now. I think this is what you do in August. This is the kind of number one contenders fight, assuming, because I actually think that Olberg's going to come back faster than what I thought. I did say that Olberg will never win a serious fight again. I'm not sure. I just watched some of his physical therapy coming out post surgery and he's already able to walk. That's a really good sign. Looks like best case scenario, but you're going to need to do that number one contenders fight, and I think it is time for an Ankh versus Costa. I think you do. This is kind of what I think. Whatever, we don't have to talk about that. But I think none of these fights they're all big for their so-called divisions. You know, you have Volk versus Movzar. That's not a headlining fight. You know what I mean? It is because it's Volk, but Movzar doesn't bring anything out. Like Volk versus Silva's a high like that kind of headlining fight. But Movzar, the casuals don't know about Movzar. Okay, that's not happening. But you need to stack the card under it, so that's why I think you do a Yan versus Merab, because the casuals start to kind of know who Merab is and things like that. I don't honestly know how big Peter Yan is with casuals. I think some of my friends would know. I wouldn't expect it, because I have one friend that kind of knows ball, not really, but yeah. And then I think you put a women's fight just because there's no women's fight. But regardless, I expect to see, this needs to be the fight that needs to happen, because Merab will never get another title shot again, if he doesn't get it this time. And he has done everything in his power, okay? He defended his belt 3 times, okay? He went out there. He beat O'Malley, okay? And then after O'Malley, he beat, I'm tripping out. He beat O'Malley. He beat Umar in what was one of the best fights of that year. And then after he beat Umar, he went out and beat O'Malley again. And then he beat Sandhagen. And then he lost to Piotr Yan, trying to break the record, man. All respect. He deserves his next shot. And I think he's going to be washed, unfortunately. Unfortunately, I do. But let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. This is my video breaking down why this fight needs to be made next. See you guys later.